like if you were to trade that number one overall pick, you're getting 2 ones. There's no doubt in my mind about it. I don't think you're getting that with Jaxson Dart, which is pretty much the league telling you, hey, we think Mendoza and Moore are more valuable. I want to start this off with the New York Giants. If the New York Giants end up getting the number one overall pick, I think they need to consider trading Jaxson Dart. And the reason why I say that is this. Jaxson Dart, do you believe you're going to get as much in return for Jaxson Dart as you would the number one overall pick and a chance to potentially draft Fernando Mendoza or Dante Moore? I don't think a team would give up as much for Jaxson Dart as they would for that number one overall pick. So then at that point, as a personnel department, as a front office, you have to ask yourself, okay, a team is willing to give me more for the number one overall pick than the quarterback that I have right now. What does that tell me I should do? I should probably stick and draft what is probably going to be a more valuable asset than the asset that we already have. And look, I like Jaxson Dart. This isn't me saying that the Giants should move on from Jaxson Dart and just have no replacement quarterback like some people say about other quarterbacks. Just move on from this quarterback. I'm not saying that. I'm saying you have the number one overall pick. You have the chance to go get a legitimate guy with pedigree, legit pedigree, Heisman pedigree, like Fernando Mendoza, or a guy like Dante Moore, who is, I think, as safe as a prospect as you're going to get. I think I'm going to take that opportunity to go draft a guy that is graded at the top of the draft compared to Jaxson Dart, who had a good rookie season, but we saw the way he plays the game of football. He is a reckless player. He has been in the concussion tent more than you would want your quarterback to be in there. Fernando Mendoza and Dante Moore, they're different type of characters, especially Mendoza playing in a pro-style offense in Indiana. It's much more easy to scout Mendoza. I think that's a very safe pick. I think he's going to be a better quarterback in the NFL than Jaxson Dart is. So you're still going to be able to trade Jaxson Dart, and you're probably going to get a one for him. I would assume you get a one for him, no doubt about it, and probably more than just a one for Jaxson Dart. But at that point, that the NFL is telling you what they think is more valuable. They would prefer the number one pick over a quarterback who has had a good rookie season. That shows you that it's probably the right decision to stay at that number one spot and draft Mendoza, in my personal opinion, or Dante Moore, whichever one you find more appealing as a prospect coming into this draft. And if I'm going to be honest with you as well, you're still going to be able to draft another player, draft another rookie, because you're going to get a first round pick for Dart most likely. You're still going to be in a position to draft a very good player to complement with Mendoza or with Dante Moore. And I think you're going to be able to get probably a top 10 pick for Jaxson Dart, but I don't think you're getting another first round pick on top of that. I don't think that that's going to happen. But like if you were to trade that number one overall pick, you're getting 2 ones. There's no doubt in my mind about it. I don't think you're getting that with Jaxson Dart, which is pretty much the league telling you, hey, we think Mendoza and Moore are more valuable. Now, when I look at the Giants as a whole, and you look at their front office structure, obviously, they still have Joe Schoen there. Brian Daboll, they moved on from him. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with Joe Schoen this offseason. Are they going to keep him? I mean, I don't know. I think that, to be honest with you, how can you keep Joe Schoen? Right? Like, I don't know. Maybe they have a high opinion on Joe Schoen in that organization, right? Like, I remember the Eagles did this with Howie Roseman. Howie Roseman was the general manager for the Eagles, and then Chip Kelly took over. They kept Howie Roseman around because they said, oh, this is a smart guy. We think that with, being in an organization and getting a little more under his belt when it comes to being in the NFL, this guy could be a rock star general manager for us. And look at what happened. He became a rock star general manager. Maybe they see the same thing in Joe Schoen, but especially if they move on from Schoen and now you're dealing with a new front office. So there's no attachment from the front office towards Jaxson Dart or a coaching staff towards Jaxson Dart. You get a new coach coming in there. And they may say, hey, look, I like some of the things that Dart has done, but I want to start over. I want to get my guy. And we have the opportunity to go get my guy. And that's where I think it's going to be the most interesting. I'm going to be honest with you. If I'm in that front office, if I'm in that personnel department, I'm standing up there and I'm saying, let's make this move. And again, that's not to say Jaxson Dart is not good. I think he's going to be a good quarterback in the league. But I'm not going to pass up on great for good. I think Mendoza and Moore can be great quarterbacks in this league. I don't know if Jaxson Dart can be that. I like some of the things that Jaxson Dart does, but I think he's overly reliant on his legs. And because of that, that's why you see him taking some of these big hits. I mean, like last year at this time, you couldn't tell anybody that Jaden Daniels wasn't going to be a flat out superstar in the NFL. But when I saw how Jaden Daniels was playing the game, I was like, that's not going to last in the NFL. Look, quarterbacks are not meant to run into linebackers head on. They're not. Like, I wouldn't want my quarterback to do that. I want my quarterback staying in the pocket, processing the defense, delivering the ball on time. And if he can run, that's great. I would prefer if he didn't take giant hits. I need you in the game more than I need an extra couple yards. If you're a running back, fine. I get that, because with a running back, you want those extra few yards, and you can actually get those extra few yards because that's how running backs are built. They're built with strong lower bodies, and they can deliver a hit with power. Quarterbacks are different. Some quarterbacks are very well developed in their lower body, and they can really use that force from their legs to deliver a hit to a linebacker. Sure, but even still, I don't want my quarterback doing that. Why in the world would you want that? I don't know. But like when I see Jaxson Dart, again, I like him. I think he's going to be a good quarterback in this league. If you have the number 1 overall pick, I just think that you're not going to be in this position again. And with the type of play style Jaxson Dart plays with when it comes to all the, the hits that he takes, I don't know. I think me personally, I would make the move here, and I don't think I'd think twice about it. I would be in that meeting saying, look, Dart can play, but we think these guys can be legitimate top 5, top 10 quarterbacks. Because I think that's the case for both of these guys.